You're tuned into another episode of Bread Before Bed.
So on tonight's episode of Bread Before Bed, we are continuing Genesis, the 31st chapter. Last time we cut it halfway because the chapter was pretty long and we didn't want to rush through it. So we will be continuing at the 25th verse, and it reads, "Then Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mount, and Laban with his brethren pitched in the mount of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, What hast thou done, that thou hast stolen away unawares to me, and carried away my daughters as captives, and taken with the sword?" So basically, we're picking up from the place where Jacob was tired of being at Laban's house. He was tired of being tricked, tired of being underappreciated, and tired of not being able to grow and gain without Laban holding him down, Laban being jealous, and Laban using him. So Jacob came together with his wives and let them know just how wrong Laban was treating him. And what he did was he came into agreement with his wives that they were going to leave. And instead of telling Laban, they just left. And of course, God gave Jacob the order to do so, the permission to do so. And when Laban found out that Jacob left, he was angry and he pursued him. But you see in this text, Laban began to lie already. He said that you stole away and you took my daughters. And you'll notice in the text how Laban refers to everything as his. Even Jacob's kids, Laban are going to refer to them as his. And he's basically given the indication that everything that Jacob has belongs to him, which is totally unfair because Jacob worked for his wives and those were Jacob's kids, and all of the flocks and stuff that Jacob had, him and Laban made an agreement that those were Jacob's as well. So here Laban is continuing to be manipulative. 27 reads, "Wherefore didst thou flee away secretly and steal away from me, and didst not tell me that I might have sent thee away with mirth, and with songs, and with tabret, and with harp, and hast not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters? Thou hast done foolishly in so doing." See, that's what I was talking about. See how he's referring to everything that Jacob have is mine, my. 29 reads, "It is in the power of my hand to do you hurt. But the God of your father spake unto me yesternight, saying, Take thou heed that thou speak not to Jacob, either good or bad. And now thou wouldest needs be gone, because thou longest after thy father's house. Yet wherefore hast thou stolen my goods?" So now Laban is accusing Jacob of stealing his idol gods. "And Jacob answered and said to Laban, Because I was afraid, for I said, Peradventure thou wouldest take by force thy daughters from me. With whomsoever thou findest thy goods, let him not live. Before our brethren discern thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee. For Jacob knew not that Rachel has stolen them." So Jacob is basically saying, everybody here is a witness between me and you. So what I want you to do is search everything that I have and see if you can find your stuff. "And Laban went into Jacob's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into the two maidservants' tents, but he found them not. Then went he out of Leah's tent and entered into Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the images and put them in the camel's furniture and sat upon them. And Laban searched all the tent, but found them not. And she said to her father, Let it not displease my lord that I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of women is upon me. And he searched but found not the images. So basically Rachel said, I can't get up off my camel because my period is on. So when that happened back in those times, a woman was declared unclean. So he didn't want to touch her and for him to be unclean as well. And Jacob was wroth and chode with Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, what is my trespass? What is my sin that thou hast hotly pursued after me, whereas thou hast searched all of my stuff? What hast thou found of all of thy household stuff? Set it before my brethren and thy brethren, that they may judge between us. This 20 years have I been with thee, thy ewes and thy she-goats have not cast their young, and the rams of thy flocks I have not eaten. That which was torn of beast I brought not unto thee, I bear the loss of it. Of my hand didst thou require it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was. In the day the drought consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep departed from mine eyes. Thus have I been 20 years in thy house. I served thee for 14 years for thy 2 daughters, and 6 years for thy cattle, and thou hast changed my wages 10 times. Except the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had been with me, surely thou hast sent me away now empty. God had seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked thee yesternight. So basically Jacob is letting them have it. Like, I ain't did nothing but be good to you. I made sacrifices to make sure everything in your house was prosperous, and you treating me like this, and you even would have killed me if God didn't come to you in a dream. You done searched all my stuff, you ain't finding it. So basically Jacob is just furious at this point. And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, these daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these cattle are my cattle, and all that thou seest is mine. And what can I do this day unto these my daughters, or unto their children which they have borne? Now therefore come out and let us make a covenant, I and thou, and let it be a witness between me and thee. And Jacob took a stone and set it up for a pillar. And Jacob said unto his brethren, gather stones, and they took stones and made a heap, and they did eat there upon the heap. And Laban called it Jegar-Shahadutha, but Jacob called it Gilead. And Laban said, this heap is a witness between me and thee this day. Therefore was the name of it called Galad and Mizpah. For he said, the Lord watch between me and thee when we are absent from another. If thou shalt afflict my daughters, or if thou shalt take wives beside my daughters, no man is with us to see, but God is the witness between me and thee. And Laban said to Jacob, behold this heap, and behold this pillar which I have cast between me and thee. This heap be witness, and this pillar be witness, that I will not pass over this heap to thee, and that thou shalt not pass over this heap and this pillar unto me for harm. The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge between us. And Jacob sware by the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered sacrifice unto the mount, and called his brethren to eat bread, and they did eat, and tarried all night in the mount. And early in the morning Laban rose up and kissed his sons and his daughters, and blessed them, and Laban departed and returned unto his place. I just want to point out 2 things really quick. So Laban ended up being embarrassed in front of his whole family because he chased Jacob down for no reason, and Jacob exposed in front of everybody how Laban was mistreating him. Another thing that I want to point out is that Jacob really hasn't came into a fully right relationship with God, because if you see in the text, he's saying, I'm doing this out of the fear of Isaac, out of the fear of his father, and not out of the fear of God yet.
You just got that. Bread before bed.
You just got the word.